Okay, today we're going to jump into two more novelists and then we'll see the dramatists, and this age will get over. I don't think we can complete it. Little slowly we'll go. And the next stage is postmodern age, and then we'll see theory and American and all that. Okay. Tomorrow we have completed Civil War and Restoration, right? What is the next stage? Is it the Romantic age, guys?
Enlightenment age, sir.
Enlightenment. So tomorrow, can you write a test on enlightenment?
Okay, sir.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
right. Okay, let's just start with J.M. Barrie. J.M. Barrie, you might have heard about, I mean, you might not have heard about him, but you might have heard about his character, Peter Pan, right? Peter Pan is like very, very famous, where he lives in a place called Neverland. He never grows up, and there are a lot of movies, Peter Pan and Wendy, and of course the concept of Neverland is very famous. Even Michael Jackson's home was called as Neverland, getting inspiration for Peter Pan. Okay, so Peter Pan is a kid who never gets older. That's the concept. So J.M. Barrie was prolific. He wrote a lot of his works, but he is very well known. He wrote plays, but one play which was like super famous is Peter Pan, and it became like movies and lot of additions to it. So the villain name is Hook. Remember that, okay? So J.M. Barrie wrote Peter Pan, The Little White Bird, Peter Pan in Kingston Gardens, A Kiss for Cinderella, Quality Street, The Admirable Creature, What Every Woman Knows, Dear Brutus. So he kind of dealt with themes of childhood, imagination, loss of innocence, and all sorts of things like that. Okay, so that's Peter Pan, James Barrie's amazing work. Remember these works, especially remember what every woman knows, Peter Pan, and Quality Street. So others, I don't think they are much famous, but remember Peter Pan. Do not forget it. Okay, James Barrie's. So can you list out James Barrie's works?
Peter Pan's The Little
Yes.
White Bird, Peter
Hmm.
Pan in Kensington Gardens, A Kiss for Cinderella,
Hmm.
Quality Street, The Admirable Churchill,
Hmm.
What Every Woman Knows, Dear
Hmm.
Brutus.
Okay, fine. So the next author is Rudyard Kipling. Some call it Rudyard Kipling. Okay, it's Rudyard. Basically, it's Kipling. Kipling, actually, he grew up in India. He had an Ayama, and she told him lot of Indian stories. So his head was filled with imagination, and that made him write this amazing novel called Jungle Book. Right? Have you seen Jungle Book movie or Mowgli or something? Have you seen?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So Jungle Book was written by him, and because of his Ayama, who like told him a lot of stories, he was having a lot of imagination, and he built this amazing story of Mowgli and Sher Khan, uh, Baloo Bear, and all that. So many awesome characters there. So Jungle Book is this most important work, which is still like I mean read by many people. And he wrote just Kim is a nice novel. It's a very nice novel. Just So Stories he wrote, Captain Courageous, and you might have read his poem, his very famous poem. If is a nice poem. I think you might have had it in your school race, right? Did you have If?
No, sir.
No, you didn't have. Okay, fine. So that's a wonderful poem, and he wrote Plain Tales from the Hills, The Man Who Would Be King, The Phantom Rickshaw, and other ghost stories, Rewards and Fairies, Puck of Poop's Hill. So these are his other works. Okay, so but his most famous is obviously Jungle Book and Kim. And in fact, he won Nobel Prize. Okay, he won Nobel Prize. He is very well known. So we have completed these two people. We have completed James Barrie and we have completed Rudyard Kipling. Okay, can anybody read Kipling's works?
The Jungle
The
Book,
Jungle Book,
Hmm.
Kim Jim,
Just
Hmm.
for
Just
Stories,
for Story,
Captain
Captain
Courage,
Courageous,
Okay.
Raccoon
Karakoram
Ballads,
Palace,
Hmm.
Plain
Plain
Tales
Tales
from
from
the
the
Hills,
Hills,
Hmm.
The
The
Man
Man
Who
Who
Beat King,
Okay.
The
The
Phantom,
Phantom
Misha,
Misha
and
and
Other
Other
Ghost Stories,
Ghost
Hmm.
Stories,
Rewards
Rewards and
and
Failures,
Failures, Pucks
Bucks
of
off.
Fox Hill.
Fuck
Okay.
Off Book Hills.
Very good, guys. Let's just get into Samuel Butler. The last. This is why I told you not to get confused with Samuel Butler's. In previous, before 2 3 ages, there will be Samuel Butler. He would have written another book. I think Eastward or Westward I'm not sure. And this Samuel Butler is the recent one, right? So Erwan, this is the age that he lived in, the modern age. So Samuel Butler was an English novelist and in 19th century. The Fair Haven, The Way of All Flesh, Evolution, Old and New, and Life and Habit. So these are all his important works. Okay. So what are the works of Samuel Butler?
The Fair Haven, Life and
Okay.
Habit,
Hmm.
Evaluation Old and New,
Hmm.
The Way of All Flesh.
Okay, fine. So you got it right. Now, the thing is, we have completed all the novelists. We have seen James Barrie, we have seen Rudyard Kipling, and then we have seen Samuel Butler. Now, let's just jump into the dramatist. We'll try to finish the age, or we will continue on Thursday. Okay, so that's John Galsworthy. That is drama. Now we are going to talk about dramas. Now, the same thing like novelists. Remember, just like all these modern novelists, the dramatist too changed. So that means what? They would have talked about war. They would have talked about women, sexuality, and all that. So those things would have been the ideas behind modern period. So John Galsworthy comes there, and the work is uh, the Forced Saga. It's a series of 3 novels, and 2 includes that chronicles wealthy Forced family. And then this is most famous work, Justice. You might have had this work, I suppose. And Justice and Strife. I think Strife you might have had it. So Justice, Country House, a modern comedy, Silver Box, Patrician, and Strife. So these are his works. So remember these works, okay? The first saga is a bunch of books together, and then Justice, a group of books, and Country House, Modern Comedy, Silver Box, Patrician, and Strife. So these are all the books that you need to know. And Strife is a very good play. He's a very good dramatist, right? And I posted a list of 100 best books. No, just go through them and keep. There are many chances of asking questions from those. You don't need to memorize or anything. Just know it. Okay, these are the books that are there. Okay, just know about them and keep. Did you see the list, guys? Did you see the list?
No, sir.
No. Just go through it when you are free. Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Tell
sir.
me what are the works of John Galsworthy?
The Fosdale Saga,
Okay.
Justice, The
Hmm.
Country House, A Modern Comedy, The Silver Box, The Patrician,
Hmm.
Strife.
Super. Okay. So Strife and Justice. Remember, 2 are the best works. Then comes G.B. Shah. Bernard Shaw was an amazing critic and a playwright. He was, in fact, a writer, a critic about plays. And somebody told him, like, you're always criticizing, why don't you write a good drama play? So, as a challenge, he started writing it. And he became one of the vocal critics of the government as well. And you might have already read some of his works. At least you might have read Pygmalion. Pygmalion is a brilliant play which became a famous movie called My Fair Lady. Okay, so remember that movie's name is My Fair Lady. So that's Pygmalion and Man and Superman, Saint Joanne, Arms and Man, Candida, Major Barbara, and Doctor's Dilemma, Back to Methuselah, The Intelligent Woman's Guide to Socialism and Capitalism, and Devil's Disciple. Okay, his novels are mostly like social kind of things. He will deal with social issues. Okay, and he writes about those a lot, and he's kind of a very practical kind of political guy who writes plays for social causes. But that's humor, attacking, satirical. That kind of person is GB Shah. Right? So, what are the works of GB Shah?
Pygmalion,
Hmm,
Man and Superman,
okay.
Saint John,
Superman,
Hmm,
Arms and the Men,
Arms and
hmm,
Men,
Candida,
Canada,
Major Barbara,
Major
okay.
The
Barbara,
Doctor's
the
Dilemma,
Doctor
Back
Barbara,
to
Back to
Methuselah,
Hmm,
Methuselah, the
The Intelligent Woman's
Intelligent
Guide to
Guide to
hmm,
Socialism and
Socialism and
Capitalism,
Capitalism,
hmm.
The
the
Devil's Disciple.
Devil's
Okay, there are two more works which are important and they're missing in this. Just write it down and keep Mrs. Warren's Profession. Okay, Mrs. Warren's Profession, and also Cleopatra and Caesar, I think. Caesar and Cleopatra, or Cleopatra and Caesar, I think. Okay, so he has written those books. I mean, those plays. Miss Warren's Profession is about prostitution and all that. Okay, so it's an important work. He wrote about that. So remember those two works as well. That's important and it's missing in the list, so I'm telling you. Okay, so we have completed two dramatists, John Gasworthy and Shaw. Next, let's get into T.S. Eliot. Now, Eliot was an American, but then he gave up American citizenship and he moved to England. And T.S. Eliot is considered one of the greatest poets of this century. I mean, the previous century. He has written very silly poetry, and he's written profound, very, very difficult poetry as well. So that's the range of T.S. Eliot. Okay. His first important work is Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock. It's a very nice collection. And then Wasteland. Okay, this is his landmark. Basically, it's about war. It's an effect of world wars. How England has become a wasteland. That's the idea. Then he started. Um, he became a Catholic. Okay, and then he wrote. No, he became an Anglican, I suppose. Okay. No. He should have become a Catholic. That's when he wrote something called Ash Wednesday, and we have already seen way in the beginning, right? We saw about Chaucer. That time we talked about Becket, Thomas Becket. No, their Murder in the Cathedral is about Archbishop Thomas Becket's murder and stuff, and he's written four chords. So these are his important works. Okay, so Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock, The Wasteland, Ash Wednesday, Murder in the Cathedral, and Four Chords. Okay, what are the most important works of T.S. Eliot?
The Love Song of J.
Hmm,
Alfred Prufrock,
hmm,
The
The
Wasteland,
Wasteland,
Aspen
Ash
Day,
Wednesday,
Murder
Murder
in
in
the
the
Cathedral,
Cathedral,
hmm.
Four
Four Quartets.
Quarters.
Have you read any of his works?
The Wasteland, sir.
Okay, the Wasteland. When did you have Wasteland? Did you have it in your PG or UG?
UG, sir.
UG, sir.
UG third year, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You had the entire Wasteland or only part of it?
Part of it, sir.
Not the five parts also, only. In which
Yes, sir.
subject they gave you poetry? I mean, Wasteland?
Commonwealth.
Commonwealth
Commonwealth.
literature, sir.
Oh, okay, okay. Fine, fine. So remember these works, okay? The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock, Wasteland, Ash Wednesday, and Four Chords. Then let's just jump into Zeno Casey's. Is another dramatist, Zeno Casey, and he has written He's basically an Irish. See, the British guys, like most of them, for example, if you take James Joyce, Seamus Heaney, even though they don't belong to England, they write in English. So the UK people take them into account. Okay, Sino Kazi was born in Dublin, and he wrote this famous play called Juno and the Peacock, The Plough and the Stars, The Shadow of Gunmen. So remember these three works. Uh, there's an American that I'll tell you about later. He's also very famous, but remember these plays: Juno and the Peacock, the Plough and the Stars, The Shadow of a Gunman. So, what are the works of Sino Casey?
Joan and the Peacock,
Hmm.
The Plough and the Staff, The Shadow of the Gunman.
Okay, the works of James Synge is missing, but I think you would have had a play, right?
No, sir.
There's one nice play, no? What is it? Glass Menagerie. No, not that. They will go to ocean and uh, all the sons will die. Only that lady will be left out. You didn't have that drama?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, I think they changed the syllabus for you guys. One second. Because there's one important work that he had written. I'll just check out and tell you. She's an Irish playwright. Yeah, Riders to the Sea. Yes, that's the play. Don't forget that. Okay. The Riders to the Sea.
Yes, sir. We have that.
Yeah, yeah.
We have
But you
studied.
didn't know the playwright, right? When did you have it? UG or PG? I think UG only.
UG, sir.
Yes. Riders to the Sea. Remember that work. Okay. So how many people you have seen?
5 people.
Okay. So who are they?
John Glassworthy, G.B.
Mm-hmm.
Shah,
Okay.
T.S. Eliot,
Sina Cassie.
Eno Casey, James Synge.
Okay. Now let's get into the poets. Um, of course, W.H. Auden is a very important writer. Uh, Jane Auden's Parliament of something, right? Chimpanzees or something. It's a very wonderful work. James Kazi, you might have had some of his poetries. So some of his works are Stop All the Clocks, Cut Off the Telephone, also known as Funeral Blues. It's a wonderful work. Okay. And Age of Anxiety is another work, September 1, 1939, in memory of W. Yeats, Shield of Achilles, As I Walked Out One Evening, The Unknown Citizen, The More Loving One, Lullaby. All these works are important, okay? But they're all separate works. Remember his collections alone. His collections are basically poetries as well. Now, uh, poet modern poetry is totally different. You should understand that, okay? Uh, the poems that you read in your textbooks are like they have structures and stuff, but modern poetry is different. Modern poetry can be about anything. It can be about waiting for the bus. It can be about a green dress. It can be about an ice cream, anything for the matter, right? So that's modern poetry nowadays. So don't be, be aware of these things. Okay. So can you read out W.H. Auden's works?
Stop
Stop
All the
All the
Clocks,
Clocks,
Cut the
Hmm.
Cut
Telephone,
Off the Telephone,
The Age of
The Age of
Anxiety,
Anxiety,
Hmm.
September
September 1,
1, 1939,
1939, In the
The
Memory
Okay.
of
Memory of
W.
W.B. Yeats,
Hmm.
The Shield of
The Seal of
Achilles,
Achilles,
As I
As I
Walked
Walk
Out on Evening,
Evening, Muse
News
Des
Disc,
Arts,
Youth's
Hmm.
Arts, The Unknown
The
Citizen,
Unknown
The
Citizen,
More Loving
The More
One,
Loving One.
Lullaby.
Okay. What about? Have you heard the word? Who you know the character called Achilles? Achilles, right? Who's Achilles? Achilles toes and all. It comes in the Greek myth of Iliad and Odyssey. Iliad, basically. Okay. So remember him. He's got a weakness. His only weakness is you can kill him by, uh, hurting him on his legs, not legs, ankle. Ankle is the only weakness he's got. So that's Achilles. Know that and keep, okay? Next is W. Yeats. W. Yeats is very, very famous. Extra information that you should know is that he helped Rabindranath Tagore with the Nobel Prize. In fact, he helped him to get published in English and he helped him to get the Nobel Prize. So, and he too won the Nobel Prize. W. Yeats is a very famous poet. So, he has written these works: Tower, Winding Stair, The Wild Swans at Cool, Easter 1916. You might have heard, it's a fantastic poem. The Second Coming, Sailing to Byzantium, you should have read it. An Irish airman foresees his death, Leda and the Swan, Among School Children, The Lake Isles of Inspire. But most famous is Easter 1916 and Second Coming and Sailing to Byzantium. Those are the most important works that he had written. Okay, so that's W. Yeats for you. So, what are the works of W. Yeats?
The Tower, The Winding Stair, The Wild
Hmm.
Swans at Cool, Easter 1916, The
Hmm.
Second
The
Coming,
second coming,
Sailing to
sailing to
Byzantium,
Byzantium, an
An
Irish
Irish
airman
Airman
forces his
Forces
way,
His Death,
Hmm.
Leda and the
Leda
Swine,
and the Swine,
among
Among
school
School
children,
Children,
the lake
The
is
Lake
well of
is
ink.
Well of Innisfree.
Okay, which Indian poet he helped with the Nobel Prize?
Rabindranath Tagore.
Right,
Rabindranath Tagore.
don't forget that. How many Indians won Nobel Prize for literature?
Don't
How
know,
many?
sir.
How many people? Don't know. Only one. Only Rabindranath Tagore won. After that, nobody won. Okay, so remember that. But we won in physics and stuff, but we did not win in literature after Tagore. Okay, so know that. Next is Siegfried Sassoon. Okay, now we are getting into the trench poets. War, they are called the war poets. So remember these poets. Okay, the reason they are called trench poets is that in a war, they will dig these ditches and hide inside them to escape from bombs. Okay, so they are called trench poets and war poets. So in World War I, he took part and he wrote all these works. So the works of Old Huntsman, Counter Attack and Other Poems, Memoirs of an Infantry Officer, Shersten's Progress, The Wield of Youth. Okay, so these are the works that Siegfried Sassoon wrote, and mostly, they're all about war and the impact of war. Fine. So, what are the works of Siegfried Sassoon?
The Old Huntsman,
Hmm.
Counterattack and Other Poems, Memories
Memories
of
of
an
an
Infantry
infantry officer,
Officer,
Okay.
Sheston Progress,
Sheridan
The
Douglas,
Wield of Youth.
Guild of
Wild of Youth. Very good.
Youth.
So, next we are going to see the most famous, what to say, war poet, and you might have had his work. Strange Meeting. I think you had in your syllabus, right? Did you have it, or did they change it?
No, sir.
You didn't even read a single work of Wilfred Owen, no? Sad. Okay,
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
probably changed a lot of works for you guys. Okay, Anthem for Doomed Youth is a nice work. Dulcie D. Decoramus, Strange Meeting. They are all about war. Okay, and now listen, if I throw you both in a war, when you come back, do you think you'll come back very happily?
No,
No. What are the problems you'll have? Physically, you
Lots
might
of
be okay,
things.
but mentally, you think you'll be
pressure.
very happy?
No, sir.
No, you'll go through a lot of trauma. If in the war you kill somebody, your friend died in the war, it'll be terrible. Those bombs, noise, people suffering. When they come back, the soldiers are in shock. They don't know what to do. And they don't even know the other guy and they're killing these people. All because the government tells them to kill, right? So it's very strainful for these people, and that's what Wilfred Owen wrote about: mental cases, disabled, futility, the send off, insensibility, spring offensive, and all these works. So these are the works that Wilfred Owen wrote. Okay, so what are the works of Wilfred Owen?
Anthem for Doomed Youth,
Anthem of
Hmm.
the Youth, Duelist
Tales
at
of
Economist,
the
Okay.
East, Strange
Sleepy,
Meeting,
Hmm.
The
The
Parable
Parable
of
of
the
the Old Man and the
King,
Young,
Hmm.
Mental
Mental
Cases,
Cases,
Disabled,
Disabled, Futility, The
The
Send
Send
Off,
of
Insensibility,
Insensibility,
Spring Offensive.
Very good. Okay. Next we have Rupert Brooks. Okay, we have another. We'll try to complete this age. Let's see if we can. Okay. Next, Rupert Brooke. Rupert Brooke is also another famous poet, and as I said, these people are all trench poets, and his works are The Soldier, The Soldier, Grantchester, and also this 1914. Okay, so these are the and Great Lover and Old Vicarage. And he also wrote Tara Tahiti. Okay, so these are the works of Rupert Brooke. So, what are the works of Rupert Brooke?
The Soldier,
Hmm.
1914 For the Dead,
Hmm.
Grantchester,
Grantchester,
The Great Lover,
Hmm.
The Old Vicarage,
Hmm. Okay,
Tahiti.
so you know that. Next, let's talk about Robert Graves. He had like for 60 years he produced a lot of works then. Okay, so Goodbye to All That is an autobiographical work. I Claudius. Yeah, actually I've heard about this. I Claudius is a very nice work. Okay, and then check out the White Goddess, the Greek myths, Claudius the God, King Jesus, and Long Week End. So he has written all these works. Okay, so that's grave is for you. I think some of them are poetry and some of them are novels, some of them is history kind of works. But I've heard about I Claudius. It's a very nice historical novel which is set in ancient Rome. This, yeah, why I know this is because there is a BBC production on that. Okay, so remember these works, and can you tell me what are the works of Robert Graves?
Goodbye to All That, I
Hmm.
Claudius,
like
The White
Claudius, the
Goddesses,
White
The
Goddesses, the
Greek
Greek
Myths,
myths,
the
Claudius the
Claudius the
God,
God,
Hmm.
King
King
Jesus,
Jesus,
the Long
The
Weekend.
Long Weekend.
Okay, right. Then we have Dylan Thomas. Okay, Dylan Thomas. One poem you have to read in your lifetime. It's just a brilliant poem. It's called "Do Not Go Gentle into That Good Night." It's about death and don't be afraid of death. Go strongly towards death. That's the we are all afraid of death, but he says like, don't be afraid of death. Go strong and powerful, right? So, do not go gentle into that good night is a very nice poem. So, other works are Fernhill, A Child's Christmas in Wales, Under Milkwood, The Map of Love. These are his other works. Okay. Now, tell me what are the works of Dylan Thomas?
Do not go gently into that good
Mm.
night.
Okay.
Fernhill,
Fernhill,
The
Mm.
Child's
a child's
Christmas
Christmas
in
in
Wales,
Wales,
Mm.
Under Milkwood,
under
The Map
Milkwood,
of Love.
Map of Love.
Okay. Now he was a prolific writer. Okay, he wrote lots. And if you have to have a connection, think about Bob Dylan. This is Dylan Thomas. Then there is a guy called Bob Dylan who won Nobel Prize for writing songs, not for books and stuff. But it became a big controversy. They gave a Nobel Prize. But basically, he was writing like no a lot of dramas and lyrics and all that sort of stuff. Okay, so that's Dylan Thomas. Next, we have John Masefield. Yeah, John Masefield is important. Uh, he's very well known. He was poet laureate as well, and he wrote these amazing works called "The Everyday Lasting Mercy," "Dauber," "The Widow in the By Street," "The Daffodil Fields," "The Renard the Fox." Okay, and "Box of Delights" and collected poems. So these are all Masefield's poems and plays. Remember these works. But as far as I know, this Everlasting Mercy is one of his most impactful works. So remember that. Okay. So tell me, what are the works of John Masefield?
The
The
Everlasting Mercy,
Everlasting Mercy,
Okay. Then?
Dauber,
Robert,
Hmm.
The Window in
The
the
Widow
By
on the By
Street,
Street,
Hmm.
Daffodil Fields,
Daffodil Field,
Okay.
Reign of
King
the
the Fox,
Fox,
The
The
Hmm.
Box
Box
of
of
Delight,
Delights,
collected poems.
collected
Read
poems.
poems. Okay. So next we have Alfred Noyes, and I think we will be over with the AE house. Okay, good. Then we'll complete modern age today. The outline of it. Alfred Noyes, he wrote a lot of ballads and lyrical poetry. Okay, I already told you what are ballads, right? What are ballads? What are ballads, guys? What is the rhyme of an ancient mariner? What is it? The ballad. Ballad means telling
Ballad,
stories in poetry form.
song,
Okay, that is called as ballads. Don't forget that. So the works of Highwayman, The Barrel Organ, The Moon is Up, The Golden Hind, Drake, Sherwood, Tales of the Mermaid Tavern, The Enchanted Island. So narrative poems or story poems, they are called as ballads. Remember that. So tell me, what are the works of Alfred Noyes?
The Highwayman,
Hmm.
The Barrel Organ, The
Okay.
Moon is Up,
Hmm.
Golden Hidden,
Hmm.
Hindi, Drake, Sherwood, Tales of the Mermaid Tavern,
Okay.
The
Enchanted.
Ancient Island.
Very good. Okay, the last person in this modern age is A.E. Houseman. And then tomorrow, not tomorrow, on Thursday, we will see the postmodern. Okay. What is the date on Thursday? 18, right?
18th, sir.
Okay. Fine. So A. Houseman is a fantastic writer. He wrote these works. So remember these works. He wrote the Shropshire Lad and last poems. It's easy to remember his works. Last poems, more poems, the name and nature of poetry. Those are his works. Okay. So what are the works of A. Houseman?
A Shropshire Lad,
Okay.
Last Poems, No Poems, The
Hmm.
Name and Nature of Poetry.
Okay. Fine. So how many people you have seen today? So we have, okay, we have 3 minutes. We'll quickly revise and complete it. J.M. Barrie created a fantastic children literature character. Who's that?
Peter Pan.
Yeah. Kipling wrote City Book. True or false?
Sir,
Rudyard Kipling wrote a book called City Book. Is it true or false?
false.
Because he wrote Jungle Book, right?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. Samuel Butler, can you tell one work of his?
Life and Habit.
The Franklin.
Okay, fine. Uh, Glassworthy wrote a novel starting in, yes.
Yes, sir. True.
Yeah, tell me what is the work.
Strife.
Silver Book.
Strife. Very good. Strife. Okay. What are the two works which are not mentioned here, but I told you to write down GB Shah's work?
Mrs. Vanna's
Caesar and
profession.
Cleopatra.
Okay.
Cleopatra.
Yeah, Caesar and Cleopatra. Right. T.S. Eliot, Murder in the Cathedral. Where do you see this connected with other poets?
Thomas Becket.
Yeah, Thomas Becket, that is Chaucer. Okay. Canterbury Tales. Tina Casey's one important work.
Shadow of a Gunman.
Okay. James Inch work.
Riders to the
Riders to
Sea.
the Sea.
W.H. Auden. Give me at least one work of his.
Stop all
In
clocks.
memory of
Cut off
W.B.
the
Yeats.
Okay. W.B. Yeats won Nobel Prize and he helped one person to get Nobel Prize. Who is that?
Rabindranath Tagore.
Okay. How many people won Nobel Prize in India for literature?
One.
One.
one person.
Okay. Then who 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 can you call as French poets?
Siegfried Sassoon.
Hmm.
Wilfred Owen.
Yeah,
Rupert
yeah.
Brooks.
Very good. All these poets are French poets. Okay, so tell me one important work of Wilfred Owen.
Disabled.
Hmm. Important is Strange Meeting because I've read it. Okay. Okay, this one. Yeah, what is a very kind of motivational kind of poem by Dylan Thomas?
Do not go Jen.
Yeah,
Do not go jumping into their good.
very good. Okay. Okay, guys, it's time. Tomorrow we'll have a test. I will send you the link. We'll catch up on Thursday. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, sir.
Thank you so